What's up, guys? We have part two of my series where I am learning how to play Gladiator Beasts. Despite playing Edison for a while, this is like my first time actually trying to learn this deck. I was quite hesitant for a while, but it turns out that it actually really fits my playstyle. So we have a couple of replays from weeks 4 and 5 of Edison War League. Coincidentally, the first couple of weeks were both against Light Sworns. So this time is nice because we actually have a little bit more diversity in the decks that we've played against. This is my week 4 match against Hero Frogs, which is a favorable matchup for Gladiator Beasts for sure. But this actually turned out to be a pretty good match. So let's just go through it. I'll commentate, call out some of the things that I learned and maybe would do differently, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the first thing, one of the things I learned in this match is like I don't know how much I like Gores in the main deck. I moved it into the side deck, but you'll see in this match, it's dead in my hand at 2 different points. So don't really love it against this matchup in particular. He's got me with the dupe block. I was trying to out it with a torrential. Maybe I could have even set the torrential and then normal V Stratos next turn. Oh, sorry, too much is happening. I could have, set the torrential and then afterwards summon the Stratos and try to make them miss timing. But I can also make them miss timing with this Prisma as well if I wanted to. I just set up the Prisma, get the Bestie in the grave because I have a Test Tiger and Glad in the hand. So I'm just going to set that up. And I also have the Trap Stun, so I have the Geysaris play coming up. But let's see what he does here. He does a pretty cool play. He breaks his own dupe block, which is interesting, but he does that so that he can use the extra normal summon from Swat Frog to summon the Unifrog and clear my back row for free. So I'm just going to chain it in case he wanted to like Raigeki Break or something. So here I use Prisma to dump Laquari, and this is why I think Prisma is just so good in Glads. This is literally like my maybe 4th time playing Glads, but I already have a hard time seeing myself playing the deck without this. Just being able to get Glads in the grave to kind of set up for your Quest plays and your Darius plays, especially if this lives more than 1 turn, is really nice. So we're gonna go probably for the Geysaris play right here, I think. Yep. Darius into Bestiari into Geysaris. We're gonna pop the back row and the Dupe Frog. He chains Torrential, so his Dupe Frog is gonna miss timing. And then we just get in there direct with the Laquari, and we're in a pretty good spot because somehow we're up in card advantage right now. Let's see. I didn't go for the Rediari because he has double Treeborn, so I didn't really see too much of a point. And I'm just gonna go and add back a Gladiator Beast. Gonna dust shoot him here, which is actually a really good dust shoot. I get to put back Swap Frog, Junk Synchron, which could have got him into Catastor to easily out my GBs, and Catastor is a really big problem for this deck. So now we're in a really good spot. Go for Cat into Tiger and Samnite. Pop the back row because I'm not reading Bottomless. I don't really think Bottomless is going to be main decked here, or at least that's not. I'm hoping it's not anyway. And now we go for Geysaris number 2, and this time we can banish both Treeborns because we're going to get double Rediari off of this. So banish both Treeborns, which ends up being backbreaking for him because he draws a Kaias, which is dead. He already used Torrential, so I'm not afraid of that. I'm just going to summon. And I'm going to say, you better have Mirror Force or else this is game. And I just don't believe that he popped deck Mirror Force. So we're going to go. He's smart. He lets me attack 1 by 1 instead of just conceding. I mean, there is a world where like I don't attack with the 3rd one, but well, actually, there's no world where I don't attack with the 3rd one after attacking with the first 2. But I mean, he's doing the right thing by letting me make the decisions and potentially make an unforced error. So that's just the right thing for him to do in a competitive setting for sure. That's maybe a quick tip. Like anytime you're playing in a competitive setting, don't do things for your opponent. I forgot who made that video that I watched a while ago, but it's like, don't make your opponent's decision making process easier. Don't make their life easier. Don't just like take all the damage in one go and basically tell them that you don't have Gores or Trag. Make them attack 1 by 1. Make them make every single decision themselves. That's just something to keep in mind. I also realized while I was playing this match that Johnson Boss is watching this video. Shout out to him. I'm not sure if they're teammates or something, or if he just knew that I was going to be playing GBs and decided to watch, or if it's just random. But shout out to him. I've learned a lot from his videos, his Breaking Glad series. Really great Prisma Glad player. And it was a little bit nerve wracking to have him watch over this game, but I felt like I had something to prove, so that gave me a little bit extra motivation. He's going first, drops the Stratos. I have a nice clean out to the Stratos in the form of Cyber Dragon. Such a clean out. I'm going to go ahead and summon the GB alongside the Cyber Dragons. I have both Bottomless and Chariot, so I feel pretty safe with that. He gets pretty lucky, or I mean, he hits the 50-50 and he hits the Bottomless, which is very good because that's a clean out to my board. Whereas if I had that, he would have been in a pretty tough position. He doesn't have Miracle Live, and I would have gotten in direct for 37, and probably, well, I guess I wouldn't banish his hero because he has two heroes. But not sure what I would do, but I'd be in a much favorable position, much more favorable position. Instead, I have to just eat this, and then I don't even have an out to it during my turn, so I just eat another attack from this. Here's another thing to do both in Dueling Book and in real life. Every summon, every attack, just press the thinking icon. Make your opponent think that you have a Mirror Force or a D Prison or a Bottomless or Torrential. You got to keep them guessing. You can't just take the attack for free without at least playing some mind games. So every time check your opponent's graveyard, check your graveyard, kind of throw them off. That's what I do. I made him think that maybe I have a battle trap that I'm holding for some reason, but you can only get away with that for so long, right? So I'm gonna go for the Tiger play. I feel safe because I have the traps done, so we're kind of chilling. They always ask priority. I don't really get why you would ever priority with Test Tiger. Um, Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but Test Tiger, you can priority to tribute it and target, but if they out the target with like Compulse or Raigeki Break, then the Tiger's not going to resolve, the monster's not going to go back. So I don't really get why you would ever priority activate Tiger, but they always ask, right? So I always say no. Um, Going to get ahead and get Murmillo to pop. He activates Torrential. I negate with Trap Stun, so that's very good for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and get Rediari, banish the Treeborn. Um, Unfortunately, he does have the Absolute Zero coming down, which is not good for me right here by any means. I can take maybe two more attacks. I need to tap like a Tiger specifically. Don't have it. I'm just going to set this to kind of uh, stem the bleeding a little bit. And he does the right thing by just attacking me. No reason to do anything else from that position. And now we're going to game three. So this actually ends up being a pretty close game. I pass because I have this Gores. Once again, this Gores is like kind of not doing much in my hand right now. Let's see what he does here. Okay. Oh, I see. He special summons by pitching the sub, dumping the Treeborn. I think he might just drop this Vanity's Fiend is maybe what he's going for. Um, oh no, he doesn't. I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm not really sure what. Oh, sorry, I'm dumb. He must have normal summoned the Substitute for the Swap Frog. Um, Sets a deep prison. Okay, very nice. This is interesting because he locks himself out of Treeborn when he has the Vanities in his hand. I don't, I don't know about that. Like, well, I guess he wants to protect against his Treeborn getting banished, right? But yeah, that makes sense. But I have no Glad. Oh, I do have Glad. Sweet. Okay, so I MST the D Prison, get in there with the Rediari. Unfortunately, I have the Rediari, so I can't go for Rediari, right? It's kind of dumb. But I do go for the Laquari, and I feel relatively comfortable setting two because he set a Battle Trap, and we're hoping this is going to get us there. Um, Ooh, he hits me. Okay, that's so bad for me. Oh, this enemy controller did so much work. I think I might have sided out one of the Book of Moons, and I kind of regret it after this. Um, but yeah, That's really good. And now he's just going to tribute to main phase two for the Vanity's Fiend, I think. Luckily, we do have the out in the form of smashing. So, yeah, always normal summon the card first. See, test that they have bottomless or whatever. Maybe they don't bottomless because they think that their vanities is going to hold, especially if they have like a deep prison or a battle trap. And then we just easily out the vanities with the smashing ground. I think I sided in the second smashing ground, especially against this deck because it's an easy out to absolute zero. So there's multiple smashing grounds in my deck at this point. Hit him for 18. He hits my torrential. Um, yeah, I maybe could have baited out this torrential or like sorry, baited out this dust tornado. Like he knows my other two traps are kind of useless as I haven't activated them. So if he's gonna dust, I'm pretty sure one of these two is dust because he's setting two, right? Um, Frogs usually don't set two and lock themselves out of tree board unless they can activate them if they're chainables. So I knew one of these is probably dust or MST. Um, and like he's gonna hit the new set because it's the most likely to be live. So I probably could have just held this for a while. Maybe there wasn't a need to really set that. Yeah, especially because I have a Gores in my hand. So but we're kind of chilling right now. I'm in a good spot. I decided to play it safe because he hasn't used Torrential or Mirror yet, so I don't really see a need to summon this Liquari. I'm gonna make him answer this Stratos. I was also reading that he had a Raigeki break set along the Dust Tornado, two chainables. So I'm gonna make him, summon a card or try to out this Stratos before I commit my only Gladiator Beast in my hand. I want to save this Gladiator Beast because if this gets Raigeki break or even worse, Karma Cut, then that cuts me off from tagging, and that also cuts me off from my War Chariot. So I'm gonna play it safe and just attack with the Stratos. Um, we're in a pretty decent spot now. He has got two set. At this point, I draw a second Gladiator Beast, so I feel that it's okay to, commit more to the board. Um, I forget if I summon the Prisma or Laquari. He also hasn't used Torrential though, so I'm still afraid of that. Okay, so I ended up attacking with the Stratos, and it turns out it works out well because he finally, um, gets impatient or he finally feels like he's had enough and wants to stem the bleeding a little bit and wastes this on Stratos, which I'm more than happy to have him do. And now I have this Laquari with the War Chariot live. Okay, he's smart though, and he does Dust Tornado, the War Chariot. He had another 50-50 that he got correctly. I would have loved if he hit this one. I could chain it and bounce back both of his Treeborns. That would have been really, really good. But I'm still in a decent spot right here because I could still use this to put back both Treeborns. And now his only card in his hand is dead. He's going to be forced to deprison this Laquari. And then at this point, I can. Ooh, that's so interesting. Huh. That's really interesting. I thought that maybe I would have normal summoned the Bestiary, set the chariot behind it. But I guess what I'm thinking right now is either this Prisma lives and I have a Geysaris play next turn, or he finds a way to out this. Maybe he goes like Prodigy Caius, and then I could drop the Gores. So I think that's what I'm thinking. But his hand is completely dead. So we're actually just chilling really hard right here. Again, he still hasn't used Torrential, so I'm not getting more at the board. I probably could have played a little bit more aggro at this point, but I don't really feel a need to. He doesn't have any Treeborns live, and I know he's got at least like one or two dead cards in his hand. So I'm just gonna play it really safe right here. And I ended up getting it, and he ended up breaking. So I don't really have too many callouts for this match. I held the transmigration for a while, which ended up paying off. And I played very safe in the end. Maybe I could have gone a little bit more aggro. Um, I think I was thinking that since I had the Tiger and GB in my hand, I didn't want to. I wanted to hold that in case I needed to make some kind of comeback play with like a Murmillo or something. So that's why I was playing so cautiously. But Either way, that was a pretty good match. Shout out to this guy. Moving on to the second match. This is ironically against my favorite deck in Edison format, which is Diva Hero. I've spent a lot of time playing the deck, and I have such a love and hate relationship with the deck. I always put it down just because every Diva Hero player knows like how frustrating it is to brick with Mally and Gilman. Um, but this guy was actually just absolutely cooking. Like he played very, very well, but I will also say that he had very favorable Diva Hero hands in that he didn't brick on Dark Armed, Miracle Fusion, Mally, Gilman. Like he didn't draw those or brick on those at any point in this match, I believe. Um, so shout out to him. He played very well. It was a really fun match. So let's see it. And I had a couple learning experiences, things I would do differently. So I'm going first here and I experiment with a T set. I kind of like this because if they don't know what you're playing, this kind of looks like Vayu Turbo. And this puts them in a spot where if they have a way to attack into a Raikou, they're probably just going to summon a monster and attack into the Raikou. So I'm just experimenting with this and seeing what happens. And that's exactly what he does. He summons Arma, or sorry, Allure first. He summons Arma, which is a very good play into Raikou, right? You know, dump Gardenas, very safe. But this ends up working out favorably for me. His hand, by the way, is it's not super live at the moment, but it's definitely not a bad hand. So he attacks into um, my Sam Knight. I get Ready R, I get to banish his Neck Gardener, which is pretty nice. And now I'm going to go for a Test Tiger play. I think I'm gonna just go for Ready Ari. Like I am just gonna say I don't believe that you have bottomless, and even if you do and you bottomless it, I still have the Laquari as a follow play. Or if he has Torrential, I have the Call the Haunted. So I feel like this is a pretty heads up play. I get to pop his back row for free, attack and normal summon the Laquari, get 2 GB tags, and I feel like I'm in such a good position right here. I've just cleanly outed multiple of his cards for free. I'm about to have 2 tags. I have Trap Stun called Haunted. And in this position, I'm actually just. Oh, so what I do is I tag them out for each other, right? I just tag Bestie for Laquari and Laquari for Bestie. And I do this so that I have a Gyzaris play on the follow up turn. And I also have Call the Haunted in case he outs one of my GBs. There was a split second where I considered banishing his one dark with Ready Ari, but I'm like, there's no way that Dark Armed is a threat from this position. Um, Unfortunately for me, and very fortunately for him, he top decks Rhoda. And if he doesn't specifically top deck Rhoda, then I think I just win on the spot pretty much. Like even if he top decks a hero like Stratos or something, I think he needs to top deck Rhoda or Greffer specifically. Otherwise, next turn I'm gonna, even if he has traps, I have traps done, and I'm gonna cook next turn. But he top decks Rhoda. Very unfortunate. I have no way to stop. There's no bombs or anything. Now he drops Dark Armed. Okay, pops my GB. Great. Dark Armed again. Oh, sorry, no, Mally first makes a Stardust. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was in such a commanding position, and then the momentum switch is crazy, and he just gets to pop all my stuff for free, which is really not great. Um, he did banish all of his darks though, so he has no more pops, which is good. And this looks like I should just automatically lose from this spot, but funny enough, I I am very close to coming back. Like the only issue is that he top decked the Diva, which means that he has Catastor access next turn. I don't know that obviously, but staring at this board, it seems like an unwinnable position. But I actually have a way to break this board if he didn't have the Diva, and I probably think I would win if he didn't have the Diva as well. So I can go ahead and tack over his Greffer. I can use a quest to add back the Laquari. I have Deprison and Chariot, right? So I can Chariot the Dark Armed and Deprison the Stardust, and I also have a Gyzaris play again next turn. But he summons Diva, which represents Catastor. This is yeah, this is tough. If I had torrential Chariot, that would have also cooked. But now he's gonna make this Catastor. Unfortunately, I do get to War Chariot this Dark Armed. That's pretty nice. I think about not deprisoning this, but he's probably not going to attack with the Stardust because he's a good player and he doesn't want to get deprisoned. So I just deprisoned the Catastor because it's just as much of a threat at this point. And there's a chance where he doesn't attack with the Stardust. He does think about it, but he does the right thing and he attacks because he probably remembers that this was not used earlier. So it's a good play for him. Okay, right here, I make a pretty calculated decision to not commit any of these cards. Um, I can take specifically one attack from Stardust, and if he top decks a monster, then I lose. But if I commit either one of these and he runs over it for free, then there's no way that I can get back into this game. Whereas if I get lucky and he doesn't top deck a monster, I can top deck like, Deep Prison or Book or something and get myself back into the game with these two cards. Uh, so it's kind of one of those things where it's like you don't want to do this, but like your only path to victory involves taking that risk. So he doesn't top deck the monster. Very fortunate for me. But then I go ahead to he doesn't top deck monsters for multiple turns in a row, but I just draw multiple shitty Glad Beasts, and I draw two Ready R's in a row, exactly what you don't want to see. Until he finally, and then two Ready R's in Secutor, the worst top decks possible, until he finally has Wind Blast comboed with Solemn Judgment, so he gets me. Unfortunately, my next card, Torrential, that maybe could have done something, but yeah, actually, that yeah, yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, so moving on to game two. Game one, that was a banger. Here, I immediately make a mistake. Um, and this was a learning experience for me. So this is actually my first time normal summoning Laquari and setting a back row. Um, so far, as I've been playing GBs, I've liked to play a little bit passively and not really commit a GB first turn. But here I have the Bestiary and Heavy Storm in my hand. So I figured if he normal summons something like Stratos and tries to crash, or he sets a monster, next turn I can Heavy Storm, compulse the monster back or something, summon Bestiary, go into Gyzaris. So basically, I just thought compulse was a very safe way to make sure that both this Liquori lives and that he doesn't have a monster on the board by the start of my turn. And I thought that like, if he like brain control or something, I can just compulse this back. Or if he like heavy storm me, I could also just compulse this back, and that's also pretty safe. Um, but instead, I get really, really screwed. And I think my learning experience here is that I need to be more prepared for the turn two Cyber Dragon because everyone's going to bring in Cyber Dragon against this deck. But even in my head, I was like, even if he has Cyber Dragon, I could still bounce it back, which is what happens. So he summons the Cyber Dragon. I bounce it back. I'm fully expecting him to summon it main phase two, but I have Bestie heavy. But you can see what's going to happen, right? He's got Caius. So that's just very, very bad for me. Whereas if I had set the bottomless, then I probably win from there. Like I probably just straight up win from there. Not gonna lie. Yeah, like what's he gonna like? The best he can do is well, okay. Actually, I feel a little bit less bad if he summoned. Oh no, no, no. He just lose on the spot. Never mind. I also take back what I said about him not breaking. He opened up Gilman, so my bad on that. He actually did break this game. Um, but yeah, his diva is dead. So if I had bottomless, his cyber dragon, the rest of his hand is dead. He sets a bottomless or deep prison, probably deep prison. I heavy storm it, get in there with double attacks, and just win from there. But that was a very big learning experience for me. Now I'm forced to go into Stratos. Can't get over this Caius. I'm gonna double set bottomless. I feel like this is a real trap, a non-chainable. If I had to guess, like bottomless or something. And I just want the double protection in case he can out one of them, in case it is like MST or Dust Tornado. So right here, this is not good. Goes into Stardust. He is pretty smart. He doesn't attack. He's assuming one of these is deep prison, and he's got the absolute nuts. Double bottomless, deep prison. It's like this is the god field against Gladiator Beast. Stardust double bottomless deep prison, right? Like how am I supposed to out that? So I'm gonna normal summon this. I have two GBs in my hand. I know he's got at least one bottomless back here. I'm just gonna beta out, fine. And now I'm just gonna try to clear this diva, and luckily I get the D person out. So all of a sudden he only has one more bottomless. Not bad, not bad. Now what I'm gonna do is I have two bottomless, so I'm gonna bait out the Stardust and use the bottomless on the second card that he tries to summon, which ends up being Magical Android. And then all of a sudden, now I'm in a pretty good spot. He's only got two cards left. This is pretty much dead in his hand. And I have a way to out this board. So I'm going to smash and ground. I'm going to heavy storm the back row. I'm going to attack with Bestiari, which is good because it makes the Prism alive again. I'm going to banish the Stardust. And now I'm in a very favorable position all of a sudden. Um, so I'm going to make Izaris, get the double tag. He has Gores, I don't really care. And I have this Wabaku, which is very good as well. I decide to grab the bestie back, which is I just love how this works, right? Um, it's just so cool that you can do that with Prisma. Um, but anyway, I get the Quest and Samnite because both Laquaris are banished, and I figure if he sets a monster, then I got the I got the Samnite to go search the chariot, and I also got the Wabaku as protection. So I'm in a very favorable spot all of a sudden. Right here, I set this card. He fake thinks he's doing the thing that I mentioned before. Always pretend that you're gonna think. He's making me, second guess what this back row is. It's not really anything that he would use right here, but maybe by thinking he tricks me into thinking that it's like a wind blast, right, or something like that, which he could activate. So I go for the Bestiari. I decide to only pop the back row. I'm scared of Starlight Road here, which would be pretty bad. I don't think Diva Hero runs to Stardust, but even him negating the summon would not be good. So I just pop the one back row, and I figure I can run over the monster with Samnite to go plus anyway. So I do that. He ends up negating the Gyzaris. I search the War Chariot, set the War Chariot, and I feel like I'm in a very good spot. I summon the Bestie so I can make another Gyzaris play next turn. He summons this Prodigy and scares the fuck out of me because I think that he's gonna activate Miracle Fusion. Um, but instead, it's only Caius. I'm gonna go ahead and negate the Prodigy draw because why not, and just secure a game that way. So that was game two. Game one and two, absolute banger games, not gonna lie. Like, first one, I almost broke his incredible board. Second one, I broke his very strong board of double bottomless and D prison, which just goes to show like why I am enjoying this deck so much. I really do feel like the toolbox nature of this deck, it's just equipped to deal with almost any situation if you play it correctly. I've just been absolutely amazed at the situations I've been able to play out of and the boards I've been able to break. And you saw right there, if I just had made the right decision of setting bottomless, then that game would have been easy peasy. So going into game two, open up a couple glads. I feel pretty good about that. He sets one back row. If it's bottomless, I don't really care. I get to successfully attack and tag this out, putting the Sand Knight back in the deck, which is always good. I end up with the Laquari. Laquari with Chariot and Book feels very powerful. He can't synchro or activate effects. He does the 50-50 and hits once again. This is his what? This is his third correct 50-50, I think. Um I forget, sorry. Were the 50-50s in the first match? I don't remember. But I think this is his third correct 50-50 because you can see right here he's got brain control, which, the book would have been pretty nice for. But he does also have Cyber Dragon again, so I'm getting cooked either way here. Um, Interestingly, he decides not to Cyber Dragon and Crash, or not brain control and Synchro. Very interesting. Um, Oh no, what am I talking about? Sorry, he just set one first before doing things for some reason. Never mind. So this is very bad for me. Cyber Dragon Brain Control turns off my War Chariot, synchros with my own Bestiari, um, puts me in a very bad spot. He synchros with the Cyber Dragon 2 for Black Rose. The reason for this is he doesn't want to leave a body on the field for me to attack. Um, Now, this is a very unfortunate spot, but the crazy thing is I almost break this board as well. I use Test Tiger. He asked me Prio. I say no once again. Pop his Goyo. Use my second Test Tiger. I'm going to try to pop the back row. And if I could pop the back row with Bestie, then I'm in such a favorable position because I have Chariot, Deep Prison, Bestie. But unfortunately, he does have the Wind Blast to put that back. I am able to out this Black Rose, but then he top decks his Armageddon Knight, which is just like so unnecessarily bad for me. If he didn't top deck a monster, then I would have top decked the Murmillo and been able to attack and tag out. But now I can't do that. Now he top decks another monster, right? Like those are pretty good top decks in a row. Two, good, monsters to do some damage, and he gets in there um, for lethal right here. This is 17, 31, 39, just enough for lethal. Whereas like if he just had top deck, a trap or something, or not two monsters in a row, then there's a way I could have climbed back out of that. Smashing ground, attack with Murmillo, get Bestiari, or get Slaquari, have Chariot. But that was the game. That was the match. I thought it was a really, really good match. There were a couple learning experiences for me. I think really the only thing I would have definitely done differently was set the bottomless behind Laquari, especially against this type of deck. Um, and I could always, save the compulse for when he makes his synchro play later on. So that was a learning experience for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Please, if you have any feedback or constructive criticism, please leave that in the comments. And thanks for watching.